The gorgeous top student was so desperate to pay her family's medical bills that she actually put herself up for auction. So, I dropped a massive $50 to win her, promising that if she agreed to be my girlfriend, I would take care of all her family's medical expenses. And so, this poor, brilliant girl swallowed her pride and stayed with me for 4 long years. Then, out of nowhere, my family went completely bankrupt. When we broke up, she was as cold as ever. She didn't say a single word to ask me to stay. To pay off the massive debts, I went from being a filthy rich kid to a waiter clearing tables at a karaoke bar. But today, I saw her again. It's been years since we graduated. I never, ever thought I'd run into Yang Banxia again, especially not like this. When I brought in the fruit platter, I kept my head down, terrified she might recognize my face. Shu Horan, the old campus heartthrob, was sitting right next to her. They looked like the perfect, wealthy couple. Hey, waiter, slice up these oranges. I turned my back to her and slowly cut the oranges into thin slices. A long, long time ago, whenever I wanted to eat oranges, Yang Banxia would always slice them up for me. She had amazing knife skills. Every single slice was perfectly even. Back then, I actually thought she loved me. It wasn't until later that I realized it was just a habit. When she was slicing those oranges, she could be thinking about absolutely anything in the world, except me. We haven't seen each other in 4 years, but it feels like a whole lifetime has passed. Somehow, the guests started gossiping about college romances. Someone chimed in, "Hey, I heard Boss Yang had a boyfriend for 4 years back in college." Wow, that's so sweet. 4 whole years, practically all of college. My hand completely froze. Yang Banxia just gave a faint and didn't say anything else. The guy looked a little awkward and tried to keep the conversation going. Dating for 4 years must be pretty unforgettable, right? The silence in the room felt heavy, like a still, quiet river. Don't know how much time passed before Yang Banxia let out a soft, dismissive laugh. Hardly. Shu Horan casually chimed in to explain. She's lucky she doesn't outright hate the guy. Banxia and I went to the same school, you know. She really went through a lot back then. If it wasn't for that ex-boyfriend always getting in the way. Do you really think it would have taken us this long to finally get together? Right, exactly. Mr. Shu is a huge superstar now. No matter how great the ex was. Could he ever compare to a celebrity? The atmosphere quickly livened up again. I pulled the brim of my hat down lower. I just wanted to get the hell out of there. Suddenly, the fruit knife slipped and sliced right into my hand. TS's. I hissed in pain. It immediately drew the attention of all the guests. What the hell is going on? You can't even slice some damn fruit? Shu Horan complained in annoyance. I'm so sorry. I'll go get a clean plate. I grabbed the tray and was about to bolt out the door, when Yang Banxia suddenly called out to me. She spoke slowly, emphasizing every single word. Turn around. My body felt like it was nailed to the floor. 1 second passed, then 2. Thank God, my manager walked over just in time. I am so sorry, everyone. Our guy here is brand new. He's still not used to the work yet. Today's fruit platters are completely on the house. The manager shot me a quick wink. What are you standing there for? Go get a fresh plate. Finally, I managed to escape. Later on, my manager pulled me aside. You need to be a little sharper next time. We've all been the new kid. But if they filed a complaint against you, you'd be working for absolutely nothing tonight. I nodded, feeling incredibly grateful. Thank you so much. The manager just patted my shoulder. Don't mention it. You have to be super careful with that VIP room. It's packed with important guests. Especially that gorgeous one right in the middle. She's the CEO of a tech startup. We absolutely cannot afford to cross them. I pretended to look a little scared. Hey, sis. I'm a bit nervous. Could you run these oranges over for me? Yeah, sure. I let out a massive sigh of relief. Because honestly, if there was anyone in this world who had already completely pissed off Yang Banxia, it could only be me. I'm that awful ex she hates so much. I still remember back in our freshman year, Yang Banxia was wearing this faded, washed-out old shirt, standing in the crowd of freshmen. She stuck out like a sore thumb. She was visibly broke, but also visibly beautiful. I loved the soft, cold tone of her voice when she spoke. And I loved how her long eyelashes would drop when she looked at me. Yang Banxia desperately needed money. Her financial aid spot was even stolen by someone with connections to our counselor. So, after a night class, I practically lunged at her and grabbed her soft little hand. Yang Banxia, I really like you. Just go out with me. I've got plenty of money. We can just share my allowance. If that's not enough, I'll even pay you every time we kiss. I got rejected, obviously. But back then, my whole life had been smooth sailing. I had no idea what failure even meant. The more she pushed me away, the harder I clung to her. Until the grandpa who raised her became critically ill. I didn't even blink. I just paid off all her medical bills. And Yang Banxia finally gave in to me. I foolishly thought I had done her this massive favor. It wasn't until much later that I realized, yeah, I got her. But I also completely broke her. After we got together, she still worked a part-time job every single day. She barely touched my money. Things only got worse. Rumors started flying around campus about her. People said she sold herself for money. The way our classmates looked at her totally changed. Some people even gave her disgusting nicknames. But back then, I was still naive and optimistic. I just hold her hand and say, "Hey, don't listen to them. They're just jealous." I was living in my own little bubble. I never realized that Yang Banxia was fighting this lonely battle all by herself. Then, during our senior year, my family went bankrupt. I didn't tell her, I just asked her to come out, and told her, "I'm bored of this, let's break up." And just like that, we were done. I figured she was probably happy about it, because she finally got her freedom back. The very day we broke up, I tossed my SIM card, deleted my WeChat, and got on a train to another city to work and pay off my debts. It wasn't until 3 months ago that I finally came back here. Yang Banxia looks like she's doing amazing. She was always an academic weapon anyway. The kind of absolute genius who completely outclassed our entire department. It's only been 4 years since graduation, and she's already a high-profile CEO on the cover of financial magazines. As for Shu Horan, he used to be the most popular guy in our class, and debuted as a celebrity junior year. I just never expected those two to end up together. That's great. Just great. I clutched my chest, forcing down the bitter ache. Getting off work at 4 a.m. I was the very last one to leave. My coworkers thought the place was empty, so they shut the lights off early, and even the elevators were turned off. Frustrated, I kept mashing the elevator button, praying it would light up. "Maybe you should make a call?" Yang Banxia's voice suddenly echoed behind me. Stiffly, I called a coworker, and the elevator booted back up. Yang Banxia and I stood together in that cramped little space. "You guys get off work this late?" she asked, completely detached. "We have to wait for all the customers to leave before we can head out. The pay here is good." "That's nice." I kept my head down, the brim of my hat hiding my face. It seemed like Yang Banxia hadn't recognized me. We casually exchanged a few words, and then she checked her watch. "This elevator is so slow. My boyfriend is probably getting anxious waiting for me. He's super clingy." I froze, suddenly realizing she was talking about Shu Horan. "What about you? Working this late? Where's your girlfriend?" "I live close by." The elevator finally arrived. The second the doors opened, I bolted out. Yang Banxia, who had been perfectly calm for minutes, finally exploded with rage. "Why are you running? Where else can you even run to?" "Yan Yi." Just walking away, vanishing without a trace. "Was it fun for you?" Yang Banxia backed me into a corner, step by step. She was still the girl from my memories, but the innocence was gone, replaced by someone much more mature. "Deleted your WeChat, disconnected your number, even the professors couldn't find you. Yan Yi, you are really something." I slowly lifted my head, meeting her gaze. "You probably used your connections to ask around already, right? My family went bankrupt. My dad got tangled up in financial disputes. We still haven't paid off the debts. Why wouldn't you just tell me back then?" I was completely speechless. "Was it because you couldn't put your precious ego aside? Young Master Yun?" "No." Before I could even finish, Shu Horan walked right up to us. "Yan Yi? Wow, it really is you." He looked even sharper than he did in college, styled flawlessly down to the very last strand of hair. "Long time no see. Everyone in our class has been looking for you. How come we haven't heard a single peep from you in 4 years?" Shu Horan sized up my clothes with an overly exaggerated look of surprise. "Yan Yi, isn't this the puffer jacket you bought junior year? The feathers are literally falling out. Why are you still wearing it?" Back in the day, whenever I bought clothes, I'd wear them for 1 year and toss them. He was asking this, just to humiliate me, but I was already completely numb to it. "It's not torn. It's still wearable." Shu Horan gave a mocking, knowing look. "Are you really struggling that badly right now? You should have said something sooner. Let your old classmate help you out." He pulled out a bank card. "Here, go ahead and use this. No need to pay me back." "Thanks, but I really don't need it." I looked at him, then looked at Yang Banxia, and gave a quiet smile. "I'm getting married soon. Make sure you come." As soon as I said that, Yang Banxia froze completely. "Working at the KTV is just my side gig. I have a day job, too." On Monday, a client visited our office, and my coworkers were gossiping. I heard this client is an absolute genius. She originally started the company just to track down her ex-boyfriend. My eye twitched. I had a bad feeling about this. "Did she find him?" I asked. "No idea. The system isn't even finished yet. The big shots have poured a ton of money into it. The potential is massive. That's why our boss is so desperate to partner up." I gathered the documents together. Through the door of the reception room, I heard Yang Banxia's voice. "About this partnership, I need some time to think it over." I pushed the door open and set the files down on the table. Yang Banxia's eyes locked onto me. "What are you doing here?" I answered calmly, "Working. This is my main job." My boss looked at me, clearly curious. "Yun, do you and Ms. Yang know each other?" I hesitated for a second before answering. "We've met." "Just met?" Yang Banxia was visibly angry now. I didn't know what she was so mad about. On the day we broke up, the one who walked away without looking back. "Wasn't that her?" She pointed straight at me. "Mr. Lee, I can sign the contract right now, on the condition that you transfer Yang to be my personal assistant. My boss agreed instantly. He didn't even give me a chance to argue. They spent the entire day in meetings. That evening, I grabbed my bag to clock out, but Yang Banxia blocked my way. Where do you think you're going? I didn't say you could leave. Ms. Yang, I really can't work overtime today. I have other things to do. Like what? I have to go deliver food. Yang Banxia stared at me in absolute disbelief. I used to be a rich kid. I never even touched delivery food back then. For 4 years in college, Yang Banxia would run food deliveries right after classes. Her dinner was usually just a cheap boxed meal provided by the delivery company. I remember going to see her once. In this tiny, cramped break room, she was squeezed in with a bunch of other riders, scraping the last bit of rice from a styrofoam box. I looked at her and said, Yang Banxia, how can you eat that? It's not even clean. She looked so uncomfortable. Clean or not, does it really matter? I grabbed her hand and pulled her up. Come on, you're coming with me to get a steak. I dragged her to a newly opened Western restaurant, where it cost over $500 a person. She stood outside the restaurant doors for a long time, then silently took off her delivery jacket. Now that my family has lost everything, I finally understand how she felt that day. Just like today, it was snowing, and the ground was freezing and slick. I took a hard fall and spilled the food. I called the customer to explain, but just got screamed at. The customer snapped, don't give me excuses. Late is late. My scraped palms were stinging from the bitter cold, but I couldn't even care. I just kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. That's when Yang Banxia suddenly appeared, and picked up my scooter. I didn't know when she had gotten there, or how long she had been watching. I immediately tried to hide my hands behind my back. Stop hiding them, she said, her voice cracking. Her eyes were red. Go wash them off, right now. But I forced the words out. I can't. I have to finish this delivery. Get in the car, she demanded. I'll drive you. The customer lived on the ground floor. When I handed over the food, the guy scoffed. Driving a Porsche to deliver takeout? Wow. I ignored him, ready to take the next order. But Yang Banxia stopped me. Don't take any more. I immediately refused. No way. I haven't made nearly enough tonight. Banxia just pulled out her phone. And I'm buying your time for the rest of the night. A second later, my phone pinged. The system had automatically accepted her exclusive order. Banxia drove me back to her place. I stood frozen in the entryway, refusing to step inside. Won't Shu Horan get mad? I asked. Banxia sighed. You've got the nerve to worry about someone else? Look at yourself. You're a complete mess. And she was right. Besides my scraped hands, my clothes were soaked in dirty, freezing slush. And another thing, Yan Yi, take a good look around my apartment. Does it look like a man lives here? Wait, you guys don't live together? I was never with him to begin with. Banxia tossed a folder right onto my chest. 6 months ago, he came to me with a business proposal. He didn't want to be targeted by the rich women in his industry, so he asked me to pretend to be his girlfriend. In return, he helps me deal with creepy clients. She paused for a moment. Then, as if afraid I still didn't get it, she explained further. Some clients like to shove young guys into my bed. They think everyone plays those kinds of games. It's disgusting. So, Shu Horan helps me block all of that. The contract lays it out clearly. We don't interfere in each other's private lives. Banxia gently pulled my hands toward her and started cleaning my wounds. I glanced up and saw a whole row of unopened colognes on her shelf. It was the brand I used to wear all the time. She had bought the entire collection just to keep it home. I asked one of your coworkers about you today. She said softly, you don't have a girlfriend. At the team dinner last week, you literally said you were single. Yan Yi, you lied to me on purpose. Didn't you? I didn't lie to you. Then show me a picture of you two. You and this supposed woman. I panicked. We haven't taken any pictures together yet. Yeah, right, she scoffed. You really expect me to believe you haven't taken a single photo with your new girlfriend? Well, thanks for the reminder. Next time we take one, I'll make sure to show you. Banxia actually let out a laugh out of pure frustration. Suddenly, she leaned over the sofa. She sat down right next to me, and I couldn't even move. Even through my sweater, I could still feel the warmth of her body. I paid for your time. You know what you're supposed to do, right? I'll refund your money, Yang Banxia. I'm really getting married. She slowly trailed her hand down my arm, but stopped at my wrist. Getting married? Yet you're still wearing the bracelet your ex-girlfriend gave you. Doesn't seem very fitting, does it? I had a chain around my wrist. As the years went by, it had long lost its shine. It was the very first gift Yang Banxia ever gave me. Back when I was 19, there was this one week, where I barely saw her at all outside of class. No matter how much I begged her, she just wouldn't quit her job. She was always rushing from one part-time gig to the next, working harder than she ever had before. On my birthday, my family threw me a huge party at some fancy restaurant. I told Yang Banxia about it, but she never showed up. I waited, and waited, all the way until nightfall. Finally, her call came through. She told me she was waiting right outside the restaurant. Out there in the heavy snow, the girl I loved looked so small and fragile. She looked completely exhausted, just like I do right now. Her yellow delivery uniform was covered in mud. Back then, I didn't understand a damn thing. I just couldn't wrap my head around why she wouldn't quit those stupid part-time jobs. Yang Banxia just hugged me tight, and said she brought me a birthday gift. The bracelet was a basic one. It wasn't expensive, but it was definitely way out of her budget. I loved it so much. I put it on right then and there, and never took it off again. Later on, my parents called out to me, asking who I was talking to. They didn't like Yang Banxia at all. They thought she wasn't good enough for me. By the time I turned back around, she had already vanished into the snowstorm. Even now, whenever I think back on it, I know that at least when we were 19, Yang Banxia really did love me. She worked herself to the bone just to buy me that bracelet. Did she struggle and fall in the snow back then, just like I did tonight? But kept pushing forward anyway, all for the sake of this bracelet? But look at us now. She's the one holding all the power. Her place is filled with the luxury brands I used to love. Is she actually still hung up on me? Or is she just trying to humiliate me? I can't figure it out. I just stopped fighting back. Yang Banxia suddenly looked a little panicked. Are you mad? I'm sorry, it's my fault. I didn't think about how you'd feel. Today is your 26th birthday, after all. I bought you a new bracelet. Wait, what? I had completely forgotten myself. Today is actually my birthday. Yang Banxia pulled out a brand new gift box. Do you like it? She reached over to change my bracelet. Yan Yi, can we just... But before she could finish her sentence, the doorbell rang. Xiao Weiwei was standing right at the door. Where's Yan Yi? I need to see him. I'm his fiancé. Didn't he tell you? Yang Banxia froze, her bracelet dropping onto the carpet. I ended up leaving with Xiao Weiwei. We actually knew each other from way back. Back before my family went bankrupt, she had actually confessed her feelings to me. But my heart was completely set on Yang Banxia back then, so I turned her down time and time again. That is, until last week, when she showed up out of nowhere. Xiao Weiwei told me that as long as I married her, she'd pay off all my debts. I asked her why. She just smirked and said, I'm going to prove that you chose the wrong girl back then. I'm the only one who can save you. That cheap tramp will only drag you down. Oh, is that so? I saw the pregnancy test results hidden in her bag. What a joke. Today, I had no choice but to ask for her help. It was just a quick phone call. I made up an excuse to slip away, and I have no idea how she managed to track me down there. I asked her coldly, why the hell did you pretend to be my fiancé? Xiao Weiwei just replied calmly, what's the difference? We're getting married soon anyway. I never agreed to that. You really have any other choice, young Master Yun? Wake up. You're drowning in debt. Who else is going to date you? Other than me, who else would even want you? Was that girl from earlier? Xiao Weiwei sneered, your pathetic, broke little college girlfriend? Let me tell you, she only came back to humiliate you. Back then she was beneath you and didn't dare fight back. But now that you've hit rock bottom, who knows how hard she's laughing at you behind your back? I snapped back furiously, none of your damn business. But Xiao Weiwei just got angrier. It is my business. She stole my man back in the day. So it's only fair I knock her down a peg now. Hearing this, I was absolutely furious. Xiao Weiwei, I am not your damn backup plan. I said no to you back then, and I'm saying no to you forever. I got out of the car, and she didn't even try to stop me. Whether you agree or not, is it really up to you? Think about your family, Yan Yi. Looking at her smug, arrogant face, somehow, it brought back memories of all those people who used to spread nasty rumors and mock Yang Banxia. They were exactly like this. Does Yang Banxia think that I'm just like them now? The news of my return quickly spread among my old classmates. Along with the story of my family's downfall, my old college roommate, Junin, reached out to me. He was getting married, and he asked me to be his groomsman. Junin was my absolute best buddy back in the day. Of course I had to go. On the day of the wedding, a lot of our old classmates showed up. I went around adding everyone back on WeChat. Junin, looking sharp in his suit, seems so much more mature now. Yun, man, I always thought that you'd be the first of us four to get hitched. I just smiled. Hey, if I got married first, how could I be your groomsman today? You've got some nerve. Not a single word for 4 years. Man, I was so pissed at you. My bad, my bad. I'm not leaving anymore. I'm staying right here to make it up to you. Junin patted my shoulder. Yun, man, why did you just drop off the face of the earth? If you were in trouble, you should have told us. We could have helped you. I finally poured out everything I'd been holding in all these years. I've never been hit that hard in my entire life, man. You know, it felt like my whole world just collapsed. I took a drag of my cigarette and let out a bitter laugh. I didn't know what to do. I was too ashamed to even face anyone. I guess I just panicked. So I deleted every single one of my contacts on an impulse. Junin let out a heavy sigh. Yang Banxia went out of her mind looking for you. What? I froze. Yun, did you really not know? She tried literally everything. She went to the professors, the university admins. She was this close to calling the cops. She was just a broke college kid back then. She didn't have any connections. When she couldn't find you, she went straight to your house. Junin checked my expression before continuing. You know how terrified she was of your parents. But she still gathered the courage to go. Only, who would have thought? Your whole family was gone. Even your parents had vanished. She was always so cool and aloof. That was the first time I ever saw her break down. She sat right there on your doorstep, just bawling her eyes out. Later, when she heard you might be down south, she actually went looking for you. But obviously she didn't find you. Where the hell were you anyway? Guangzhou, Guiyang, Kunming. I said slowly, too many places to count. We went everywhere. We were constantly running from debt collectors. My family even changed our names. Almost every 2 weeks, we had to pack up and move. Well, no wonder. It's no surprise she couldn't find you. Anyway, she eventually gave up and went back to Beijing, totally crushed. And that's when she started developing that missing persons database of hers. I didn't get it. I honestly thought Yang Banxia couldn't care less whether I stayed or left. Right before we graduated, I overheard her talking to her roommates. One of the girls asked her what her plans were after college and if she was going to marry me. And Yang Banxia just said, so coldly, number. That completely shattered me. And then, not long after that, my family went bankrupt, so I just broke things off with her. She didn't even try to stop me. So, what was the point of searching everywhere for me? Did she only realize what she lost after I was gone? I was so utterly confused. I was completely zoned out when Janan's wife tossed the bouquet. The flowers landed right in Yang Banxia's hands. The MC chimed in. Congratulations to the lucky lady. Looks like wedding bells are in your future. Are you going to tell your boyfriend the good news? No need to make it that complicated. Yang Banxia smiled, walking straight toward me, and held out the bouquet. The whole room erupted in cheers, the noise completely blowing the roof off the place. I didn't know what to say. Yang Banxia, you've met my fiancé, even though she's fake. I refuse to believe your taste has gotten that bad. Just pretend my taste is bad, then. Fine, even if she is real. Yang Banxia leaned in slightly, her lips brushing my ear. Then dump her. Come back to me. Her sweet voice felt like a spell. Incredibly seductive. I almost caved right then and there. Just a little bit more, and I would have. After all these years, Yang Banxia still makes my heart skip a beat. After the ceremony was over, my old classmates all came over to toast me, and I accidentally drank way too much. All I remember next is sneaking off by myself to sit in the stairwell. No matter how loud it got outside, the stairwell was always the quietest place. Yang Banxia found me. What are you doing out here? I looked back at her, and instinctively said, Yang Banxia. I'm so tired. Yang Banxia took me home. I was too drunk to even walk, so she pressed close to hold me up. Man, I'm so damn exhausted, I slurred. Grinding every single day. When is it ever gonna end? Yesterday, some customer threw a drink all over me. And it wasn't even my fault. Yang Banxia, I want a steak. I've practically forgotten what it tastes like. The alcohol was doing the talking. I was just rambling nonsense. Yang Banxia patiently tried to soothe me, but whatever she was saying, I just couldn't process it. My last memory was her laying me down on the couch at her place. She asked me, what's so great about that woman, anyway? I mumbled back through the drunken haze. She's paying off my debts. I can do that too. Yun Yi, I'm better than she is. I know what you like, what you hate. I know exactly how to make you happy. Yun Yi, I'm begging you, don't ever disappear on me again, okay? I don't really remember much after that. The next day, I woke up in Yang Banxia's bed, completely naked. The dining table was covered with all different kinds of steak, and a plate of oranges, sliced into perfectly even pieces. Yang Banxia looked at me. I called out of work for you. You don't have to go in today. I just gave a flat, oh. As I sat down, it suddenly hit me. Wait, you called in for me? Yeah, you talked to my boss? What's wrong with that? That bastard is definitely gonna get the wrong idea. She blinked her beautiful eyes. Everything between us is real. So what's there to misunderstand? For a moment, I was completely speechless. I asked your boss about you. You're avoiding programming jobs, just so it's easier to juggle your side gigs. Yeah, programming pays well, but there's always forced overtime. If I take on a few side hustles, I can pull in more cash each month than a coding job. Starting next month, you should go back to the programming department. You can quit all those part-time jobs. No thanks, I politely declined. I haven't written code in ages. I'm way too rusty. That's okay, I'll just teach you again. She kept her head down, carefully peeling the shrimp and dipping it in the sauce. She put it right in my bowl, just like she used to do. She always used to peel every single shrimp for me so carefully. Back in college, I was just slacking off and having fun, so my grades really weren't that great. But with a genius girlfriend giving me free tutoring, they couldn't drop too low, either. I've seriously forgotten everything. Yang Banxia casually scribbled a few lines on a piece of paper. She sat down next to me. These are just the basics. Let me help you jog your memory. At that moment, it really felt like we had gone back in time. The girl I loved was sitting right beside me, gently explaining the problems to me. After dinner, I went home by myself. I didn't let Yang Banxia drop me off. I was just zoning out on the subway when I suddenly got a WeChat message from Shu Horan. Yan Yi, stop breaking Banxia's heart. Totally confused, I replied. What do you mean? All these years, she's actually just been trying to pay you back. Still completely lost, I asked. Pay me back for what? The money, obviously. Shu Horan sent over a screenshot. It was from Yang Banxia in her college dorm group chat. It's all paid off. I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. The others chimed in. Congratulations. You finally shook off that massive burden. Now you're finally emotionally free. I was sitting there, completely stunned, when a text from the bank came through. Outstanding debt has been paid in full. Paid on behalf of Yang Banxia. A wave of pure humiliation and betrayal washed over me. Thinking back to how frantically she had been searching for me. After we reunited, she promoted me, gave me a massive raise. Every word she said, every little thing she did, even what happened last night. It turned out, it was all just to pay off a debt. Nothing more, of course. Back at the karaoke bar, Shu Horan told me she hated me. Maybe that was the absolute truth. Yang Banxia despised owing anyone anything. From start to finish, I was nothing but a massive burden weighing on her mind. Just another creditor. In that moment, a toxic mix of rage and sorrow completely swallowed me whole. I didn't even know how to be mad at her. 8 years ago, I was the one who dragged her down into this completely unequal dynamic with me. And we could never fix it after that. She was just too principled. She absolutely refused to take my sacrifices for granted, keeping a polite, running tally all these years. But honestly, I would have rather she just forgot. A blind, unnamed rage flared up in my chest. I fired off a text to Yang Banxia. Who the hell told you to pay off my debt behind my back? I don't need your damn charity. Her reply came back. Isn't it a good thing that it's paid? Now you won't have to kill yourself working so many jobs. Yan Yi, stop being so stubborn. Honestly, I should have done this a long time ago. I've always wanted to pay you back for Grandpa's medical bills. Her words stung me all over again. I'll save up the money and pay you back. From now on, unless it's strictly business, we shouldn't contact each other anymore. Yang Banxia called me countless times after that, but I ignored them all. I took an extra day off and locked myself in my room. I slept like the dead, as if trying to make up for all the sleep I've missed over the years. It wasn't until the next morning that my mom told me. Yang Banxia had waited downstairs all night. I took the subway to work. She ditched her Porsche and rode the subway with me. That evening, I went to my usual part-time job at the karaoke lounge. She booked a small private room. She just sat by the door, watching me go in and out. She was like a walking goddess statue, following me wherever I went. This went on for days until I finally snapped. Please stop following me. She started counting on her fingers. If I don't follow you, you'll vanish. Vanish to another city, vanish into stairwells. Vanish and ignore my calls. You make me so worried I can't even breathe. I looked at her dead serious. I promised to pay you back, so I won't disappear on you. Is there zero trust between us? Yang Banxia furrowed her brows. What did you just say? I don't need your money. And just like that, she went right back to being my shadow. Until Friday, she didn't show up. Shu Horan called me, absolutely furious. Yang Banxia assaulted someone. She hit Xiao Weiwei. It started at an industry networking event they both attended today. They weren't at the same table, so Xiao Weiwei probably didn't see her there. When someone suddenly brought up my ruined family, Xiao Weiwei started running her mouth. The Yan family had a young master named Yan Yi. God, he was gorgeous. He used to play so hard to get, but now? He's so easy. His family is still drowning in debt, right? I told him I'd pay off his debts. And he'd marry me. I'll be the one wearing the pants in the family. I can still go out and mess around with male models whenever I want. Before she could even finish, Yang Banxia slammed her handbag right into her. Right in front of the entire industry. She literally beat up the Xiao family heiress. Outside the clinic, Shu Horan scoffed at me. Banxia is just one woman. No background, fighting tooth and nail to get where she is today. She's had it harder than anyone else. But now, because of you, she's going to make some very powerful enemies. Shu Horan was seething. Yan Yi, if you won't help her, fine. But can you stop ruining her life? I glared at him, furious. Ruining her life? Shu Horan, what gives you the right to interrogate me? You two were just business partners. Didn't you agree to stay out of each other's personal lives? Shu Horan froze. I can't believe she even told you that. A moment later, he put on this pathetic, victimized act, playing the innocent victim. Yan Yi, even though Banxia and I are strictly partners, but I really do love her. You've been gone for so long, so just stay gone. Let me have her, please? You like her? Now that's a shocker. Weren't you the one who led the charge? Spreading rumors about Yang Banxia back in school? Shu Horan's face instantly went ghost white. I might have disappeared, but I didn't lose my memory. I stared coldly at the two-faced pretty boy in front of me. After Yang Banxia and I got together, you cornered me in the men's room. The words you said back then. Do you even remember? You said, Yan Yi, how much did you pay to keep Yang Banxia? Later on, someone called her an escort right to her face. Did you forget about that, too? All those disgusting nicknames started with you, didn't they? Shu-Horan panicked completely. No, I didn't. You're making that up. I don't know how things work in your showbiz circle, but if word gets out that a massive star bullied his classmate, what would the fans think? Shu-Horan lost his cool. Screw you, Yan Yi. You're the one spreading rumors now. Want me to track down a few old classmates to testify? Hearing that, all the fight instantly left him. Please, Yan Yi, I'll pay you whatever you want. Just, let it go, okay? And please, don't tell Banxia. I was young and stupid back then, and I hurt her, but I really do love her now. I can make it up to her. You think, you only hurt her? I shook my head in disbelief. Shu-Horan, you hurt me, too. Shu-Horan was completely flustered. Then I'll apologize to you. I'm begging you, Yan Yi, please don't tell Banxia. Don't ruin her image of me. Before he could even finish, the clinic curtain was suddenly yanked open. Yang Banxia was standing right there. She looked like she'd been standing there for a while. When she kicked Shu-Horan out, it was completely humiliating. People even pulled out their phones to record him. Yang Banxia is no saint. She doesn't just forgive everyone. She tore into him with some brutal words. I bet Shu-Horan won't ever dare to show his face around her again. Are you okay? I looked over at Yang Banxia. Her cuts were pretty shallow, mostly just some scratches. Is this whole fight going to cause trouble for your company? Don't worry about it, it's no big deal. But Xiao Weiwei needs stitches. Stitches are letting that crazy chick off easy. I hope it ruins her damn face. Yang Banxia burst into laughter. Now that's the you I know. How long has it been since you said something so unfiltered? Say a few more things like that. I want to hear it. Screw doing business, they're all a bunch of scammers. What else? Pork prices went up again. How is anyone supposed to survive these days? Perfect, keep going. To hell with overtime. I just want to stay home, watch TV, and sleep. Are you complaining about me? I would never. I wouldn't dare, Boss Yang. Only you would dare. The sunlight sparkled on the snow. We bickered the whole way back. Suddenly, it felt just like our college days. I let out all the pent-up emotions I'd been holding in for years. Banxia, wait up. I'll pay you back every single cent, Yang Banxia said, her voice laced with hurt. What are you talking about? I don't want your money. And why did you suddenly get so mad earlier? Look, I know it was wrong of me to pay off your debt without asking. But you can't just ice me out like that, I said, feeling completely helpless. You treated me like a burden. How could I dare bother the great boss Yang? Yang Banxia furrowed her brows. A burden? Who told you that? Shu-Horan. Wait, was that asshole just trying to stir up shit between us? But the screenshot had to be real. I pulled up the chat logs. Yang Banxia looked absolutely furious reading them. I wasn't talking about you at all. Yang Banxia pulled out her own phone. She showed me a conversation with her roommate. She was talking about paying off a batch of overdue project fees for her company. Only after that did the rest of the conversation happen. Somehow, those chat logs ended up in Shu-Horan's hands. And he cropped them to completely twist the meaning. But how did he even know you were going to pay off my debt? Paying off someone else's debt. He has experience with that. So, I just asked him for advice. Yang Banxia pulled the car up to her place. This was my third time here, but my mood was completely different than before. Let's put everything on the table today. Let's clear the air. Yang Banxia poured me a cup of coffee. Yan Yi, I have so many questions for you. Why did you break up with me? I couldn't give you a good life anymore. I thought about it over and over. And I thought breaking up was for the best. So it wasn't because you got bored of me? I froze for a second. Then, it hit me. I'm bored of you was the exact excuse I used when I dumped her. The moment those words had left my mouth, Yang Banxia had walked away without looking back. She looked heartbroken as she spoke. I really thought I was just a toy to you. That after 4 years together, you just got tired of me. Add that to your family's crisis, and the fact that I couldn't even help you out. So you just threw me away. God, how could she think that? I opened my mouth to speak, but before I could get a word out, Yang Banxia cut in, but even if that was true, it's okay. It was like she was terrified of hearing my actual answer, rushing to show her hand first. Yan Yi, I've made up my mind. Even if I'm just a toy to you, I still want to stay by your side forever. Yang Banxia's eyes were shining with tears, looking exactly like they did years ago. I had to process her words for a long moment before I could finally speak. You've got it all wrong. I only said that out of anger. Banxia, I have never treated you like a toy. I was deeply, truly in love with you. Then why would you say that out of anger? Right before graduation, you told your roommate that you would never marry me. Now it was Yang Banxia's turn to freeze. She searched her memory for a long time, suddenly looking caught between laughing and crying. What I meant back then was, we had just graduated. I wanted to find a job first, get settled down, and then get married. So I wouldn't be a burden to you. I definitely didn't want to just be a housewife. She stuck her tongue out playfully. Actually, I started looking at diamond rings a long time ago. I was just too shy to tell you. I was so scared that it was all just one-sided. We went over everything, piece by piece, and realized we had completely misunderstood each other. How did it end up like this? The root cause was still the massive gap in our backgrounds. Yang Banxia thought that I was only helping her out for fun, just to cure my own boredom. And I thought that Yang Banxia, just for the money, had no choice but to stay with me. Neither of us believed that the other actually loved us. Bringing it back to the present, Yang Banxia asked, Yan Yi, why would you rather accept Xiao Weiwei's help than take mine? Because I like you. I didn't want our relationship to turn into something transactional. Suddenly, it all made sense. Yang Banxia nodded vigorously. Exactly. That's exactly how I felt back then. Wait, so when I confessed my feelings, you already liked me too? Yang Banxia nodded. Yes. Yan Yi, I liked you. Honestly, even before you did. The very first time we met at freshman orientation, you said your name was Yan Yi, and I memorized it right then. Hearing Yang Banxia say all this made me see my young, arrogant self in a whole new light. She fell for me before I even fell for her. I was just a step late to confess, and the way I tried to show I cared was completely wrong from the start. I used the one thing she desperately lacked to tie her to me. That made it so hard for her to speak up. She had actually said it so many times that she liked me, but nobody believed her. Everyone thought she was just lying, just sweet-talking me so I'd keep paying for her. And over time, I started to believe it too. Even she almost convinced herself, whether she really loved Yan Yi, or just the money for her grandpa's medical bills. After being mocked countless times, after realizing the massive gap between us over and over, Yang Banxia couldn't even figure it out herself. She was so conflicted, so tied up in knots, torturing herself day in and day out. Anyone else could have helped her, but me, because throwing money into the mix tainted everything we felt. If Yang Banxia hadn't been so fiercely independent, she could have easily just coasted through life by my side. But she didn't, and precisely because she didn't, she was still the stubborn girl I fell in love with. Yang Banxia picked up an orange and started slowly slicing it. I suddenly remembered the day we reunited. I said, "What did you mean by all those things you said?" Yang Banxia kept cutting the orange. "You're allowed to say things out of anger. So why can't I? I thought you'd gotten bored of me and dumped me. You completely disappeared for 4 years. It was like you were avoiding me on purpose. Am I not allowed to be a little mad?" I thought about it for a second. I guess that's fair, but Shu Horan told me you hated me. Yang Banxia slowly, methodically finished slicing the last piece of orange. I sighed softly. "I'm sorry. It was my fault. I didn't correct him right away. I thought you really didn't want me anymore." Snow was falling outside the window, making the room feel so cozy and warm. At this moment, I was finally certain that across the river of time, my beloved girl had fought her way back to me. During our university's anniversary, Yang Banxia and I both went back for a visit. As the outstanding alumni representative, she had to give a speech on stage. The campus was exactly the same, only the fresh young faces had changed generation after generation. There will always be people who are young, always people fighting for their dreams. In the absolute prime of their youth, my alumni name tag fell out of my pocket. A fourth-year student picked it up for me and gasped, "Wait, you're Yan Yi." I looked at him, totally confused. "You know me?" The kid went on. "I'm interning at Yang's company. You're a total legend at our office. In one of our projects, there's this core backend algorithm. They say Yang wrote it when she first built the system. She left a code comment in there. It says, if you ever meet Yan Yi, please tell him that I love him." Anyone who's touched that code has seen those exact words. I froze, completely stunned for a long while. Then I heard the kid say happily, "This is awesome. She finally found the guy she was looking for." After her speech ended, Yang Banxia and I took a slow walk down memory lane along our old campus routes. We made our way to the library entrance. Banxia looked at the large tree on the left. "This is exactly where you confessed to me back then." I looked up at the tree. Yeah, I remember. I was pretty damn bold back then. My mind seemed to drift far, far back in time. Yang Banxia, were you happy in college? She had hustled so hard, she had been dragged down and slandered, and felt utterly alone. I figured she probably wasn't happy. But Banxia just smiled and said, "I was really happy, because you were there. Even the painful moments felt sweet." She turned around and looked into my eyes, just as intently as she did all those years ago. "Yan Yi, now it's my turn to say it. It's almost the 9th year that I've been in love with you. Give me a chance, okay?" It started to snow again. Snowflakes gently fell on her hair. I smiled at her. "Here's to a brand new year together. Please take good care of me." Happy New Year, my girl. Happy New Year, my beautiful youth. Even with the regrets we left behind, we will always be the best versions of ourselves.